there, folks. If you're experiencing a shifting market and are looking for what to do next, check out this video where I share my top 3 biggest opportunities in a shifting market. Let's jump into it. If you're in the US right now, you're seeing a lot of interesting things start to happen. Interest rates are on the rise. They're almost 6% nationally. This is putting pressure on a lot of buyers. We're seeing the dynamic start to shift in the marketplace. But one of the most important things you need to do when you're facing a potentially shifting marketplace is, number one, not panic. One of the things you can do is overreact by looking at national headlines, clickable headlines, and assuming that the worst is yet to come. The most you can do right now is focus on the numbers. Keep one eye on the national market, the national headlines, but another eye firmly placed in your local market. It's really important to know what is happening on the ground locally. Specifically, how many active listings are in the marketplace, how many pending listings are in the marketplace, and how many withdrawals, canceled, expired are being removed from the marketplace. At least check this data on a weekly basis. The reason you want to check these numbers is because they will help you determine, are you in a hot seller's market still, no big change? Are you moving more towards a balanced market, or are you jumping over to a buyer's market? Really important to understand, and the numbers are going to help you find the truth. The US is a huge country. Every market is reacting slightly differently. You're having a much different conversation in a market like Las Vegas, Nevada, that has 6 active listings for every pending listing, versus a city like Miami, Florida, that barely has 1.5 active listings for every pending listing. Real estate is local. In some markets, the really hot, white hot seller's market hasn't ended. It keeps going and getting hotter. But in other markets, you're seeing buyers pull back. You're seeing more flexibility on prices. You're seeing more inventory hit the market, and you're going to see a return to more balance. A more balanced market brings a few different changes, and not all of them are bad. Number one, listings take longer to sell. Days on market is going to increase. This means that listings may not be flying off the inventory as quickly as before. They might take a week to sell, 2 weeks to sell, 30 days to sell, a more normal market. Number two, you're going to see more and more listings have prices reduced. This was almost unheard of 6 months ago, but now is more and more the norm. In a market like Las Vegas, you're seeing almost 40% of active listings have had to reduce their price while they're on the market. In other markets, like I mentioned, Miami, Florida, you're seeing barely 15, maybe up to 20% of listings have some kind of price reduction, less than half of what we're seeing in other parts of the country. All results are always local. Whenever we see a change in the balance between buyers and sellers, we call it a shift. The marketplace is shifting. One of the things you want to be sure of is to understand how quickly or how slowly is your marketplace reacting to that shift. Is it reacting at all? Is it reacting very quickly? Because these are really important indicators to track. Are active listings going up? Are pending listings going down? And hugely important, are more and more listings going expired, going canceled, going withdrawn in that market? Because that data is going to help you find a lot of these new opportunities. A shifting market can bring more balance, more sanity, more opportunity for buyers as well as sellers. You just have to keep your eye on the ball. Keep checking that data. Find these opportunities. One of the top opportunities that I see right now with the market shifting and us going to a more balanced market are expired listings. Expired listings have been very difficult to call the last 6, 18, 24 months because the market has been so hot, such a high seller's market. But guess what? RedX just released information this last week saying that in the first quarter of 2022, expired listings went up 40% compared to a year ago, annualized, which is impressive. Wow, I did not expect it to go up that high. And guess what? The effect of higher interest rates is only now being felt in the second quarter of 2022. What does that mean? We're likely going to see way more expired listings now than we have in the last 6 months, in the last year, and the last several years. That's just the way the dynamics of the market work. A more normal, a more balanced market produces way more expired listings than what we've seen in the last few years. It's time to dust off that dialer, dust off that data source, whether you're using Vulcan 7, RedX, Mojo, etc. Time to break out those accounts and start hitting those phones. One of the advantages of making expired calls in a more balanced market is that some of these sellers are going to be more agreeable. They're going to be more reasonable, and their listing may have expired because they did not expect the market to shift right beneath their feet. They might have had a bad ending to that listing. They might have become upset at the real estate agent for not realizing this. There's many reasons their listing could have gone expired, but sometimes it just takes talking to a new person. They can take control of the situation, help educate them on the current market, and help drive and use that motivation that they have to list the property and this time get it sold. The next few months, the second half of 2022 is going to be one of the best time to call expired listings that we've seen in many years. Check it out and see if you can add it into your business. Another opportunity we're going to see in a shifting marketplace are for sale by owners, FSBOs. The same way that active listings are taking longer and longer to sell, this also affects FSBOs. A lot of them were flying off the shelves, off the listings, off the MLS earlier in the year, but this is starting to change. One of my clients at Power ISA, that we helped build their ISA team for, told me they stopped calling for sell by owners in January of 2022. They said it wasn't worth it. They were getting too difficult to deal with. There weren't enough of them being on the market. Well, guess what? Midway through 2022, they're changing their strategy. They're picking up the phone and having their ISAs call more of these FSBOs. Why? Because guess what? A week is going by and they're not selling. 2 weeks are going by and they're still not selling. 3 weeks are going by and you see what's happening here, folks. Guess what? That FSBO might be more open to having a conversation if you keep checking in with them and their home hasn't sold yet. It's an opportunity to take a look at that shifting marketplace, educate that for sale by owner seller, and tell them what you can do to get the home sold. A more balanced market brings some challenges, but if you keep your eyes open, can definitely bring a lot of opportunities like this. Number 3, last but not least, one of the biggest opportunities in a more balanced, a shifting marketplace is more emphasis on buyers. Buyers have been the ugly duckling the last few years, especially the last 24 months. A shifting marketplace gives them more leverage, more power to buy. If they remain qualified, they can still buy a home with the new updated mortgage rates. It can be a great time for them to buy because guess what? Inventory has gone up. In some of these markets has gone up 2 times, 3 times, 4 times more inventory than we saw 6 months ago. It can be an incredible time for them. They can actually find a home, tour a home. They're not in a huge rush, not a ton of pressure to rush into a bidding war. A more balanced market is more amenable, kinder to these buyers. You're seeing FHA buyers have more of a chance, VA buyers getting properties left and right. Why? Because a more balanced market favors these buyers. If you have a database full of hundreds or thousands of old buyer leads. Jump in and make those calls. Follow up with them. Give them the good news. There's more inventory available. Sellers might be willing to contribute and help buy down their interest rate so their payments are more reasonable. This is happening in all parts of the market. Jump in and tell your buyers the good news. That's it, folks. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. Remember, a more balanced market shouldn't be feared. I'm a firm believer that a more balanced real estate market favors the real estate agent. Why? Because when the homes don't sell themselves, when buyers actually need expertise, the professional real estate agent always benefits. A more balanced market makes the professional real estate agent more valuable. If you found this video useful, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We always release new tips and tricks every single week.